This evening on Echoes of Hope, a program dedicated to exposing the crimes of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, to the world. We sat down with Dr. Wang Zhiyuan. He is the co-founder of the World Organization to investigate the persecution of Falun Gong, also known as Falun Dafa. He explains why the efforts of practitioners of this spiritual faith to inform the world about the CCP's persecution of Falun Gong are essential for the safety and future of all people. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on Echoes of Hope. I'm your host Phil Zhou. Today we're going to learn more about the spiritual practice of Falun Gong, and we're going to learn more about one of the worst evil acts of human history, the CCP's live organ harvesting crime, and also the growing movement of the End-CCP campaign. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Dr. Wang Zhiyuan, who is the president of the World Organization to investigate the persecution of Falun Gong. Hello, Dr. Wang. Thank you for joining us. And do you mind introducing yourself a little bit for our audience?
Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Wang Zhiyuan, and I am a Falun Gong practitioner. On January 20th, 2003, I, along with some friends living outside of China, co-founded the World Organization to investigate the persecution of Falun Gong, otherwise known as WOIPFG. We have been actively involved in this cause since its founding. Professionally, I am a doctor. In 1995, I came to the United States working as a medical specialist and histology specialist at the Cardiovascular Research Center of Harvard University and the Massachusetts General Hospital.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. So history remembers the Holocaust, which is the Nazi genocide against the Jewish people, as one of the worst crimes ever. It's unprecedented. Now, as you are the president of the World Organization to investigate the persecution of Falun Gong, how do you compare the CCP's persecution of Falun Gong with the Nazis' genocide, the Holocaust?
The Holocaust, which took place during World War II between 1941 to 1945, refers to the act of genocide carried out by Nazi Germany and its allies against the Jewish population. At the time, there were roughly 15 million Jews around the world. In Europe, there were only 9 million. The Holocaust took the lives of 6 million Jews, which was nearly two-thirds of the Jewish population in Europe. That included 1.5 million children. Some studies show that nearly 5 million Gentiles were also killed during the Holocaust. So the number of victims amounted to an estimated 11 million. The genocide against European Jews was the Third Reich's largest operation throughout its history. The CCP's act of forced live organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners was ordered by the regime's former leader, Jiang Zemin. It was led by the CCP, using the Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission and the notorious 610 office to manipulate the entire state apparatus, including the Communist Party, government, military, law enforcement, judicial system, and medical institutions against hundreds of millions of Falun Gong practitioners in China. This systematic campaign amounts to a nationwide genocide carried out through forced organ harvesting, which constitutes a grave crime against humanity. Please note, I'm referring to this as a political campaign. This is yet another genocidal political campaign initiated by the CCP. In terms of the number of people persecuted, the length of time, and the degree of cruelty, it has far surpassed the Nazis' persecution of the Jews. Throughout the persecution of Falun Gong, the CCP's goal is to eradicate people of faith and the beliefs of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. This is a devastating persecution launched against humanity's moral bottom line. At the same time, throughout this process, the CCP stimulates and sustains the crime of organ harvesting by raking in profit through the organ transplant industry.
Dr. Wang, you've been speaking out for years at the Washington, D.C. Falun Gong rallies and, calling on the international public to stop the persecution against Falun Gong and exposing the CCP's live organ harvesting crime. What gives you the strength and courage to remain at the forefront of this effort?
Let me first briefly tell everyone what Falun Gong is all about. Falun Gong, also known as Falun Dafa, is a Buddhist-based cultivation practice introduced to the public by Mr. Li Hongzhi in May of 1992. The practice is guided by the universe's highest characteristic, truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. Practitioners cultivate according to the principles of the cosmos's evolution. As demonstrated by hundreds of millions of people, Falun Dafa is a righteous way of practice. It elevates a true practitioner to higher levels while simultaneously playing an immeasurable role in stabilizing society, improving people's physical health, and raising moral standards.
Dr. Wang, as a Falun Gong practitioner yourself, can you share some of your personal experience with the spiritual practice?
Yeah.
I'm happy to share with you my personal cultivation experience. Unfortunately, I was once diagnosed with a terminal illness known as spinal muscular atrophy. In the West, many refer to it as a neuromuscular disorder. So far, there's no cure for this illness anywhere in the world. Being a doctor myself, I knew full well what lay ahead for me. Prior to my diagnosis, I was pretty healthy. However, in less than a month's time, I experienced a sudden weight loss going from 75 to 80 kilograms down to 59 kilograms. I felt fatigue all over my body, and I saw a decline in my memory and my ability to think. To what extent, you might ask? Oftentimes, I couldn't recall my address or my phone number. My career and personal life plunged into utter despair. As a doctor, I have a lot of friends who are working in this profession. I was also very close to many experts and professors. After visiting several major colleges and universities in China, no one could offer a solution for me. Upon acknowledging that there was no cure, I had no hope for my life, career, or even for living itself. In this time of hopelessness, I was very fortunate to get to read the main book of Falun Gong, Zhuan Falun, and began practicing Falun Dafa. In just 3 short months, my body weight increased from roughly 50 kilograms to over 75 kilograms. My hemoglobin level went up from 6 grams to more than 10 grams. My health was fully restored. Not only did I regain my health, but I also felt my energy return to the state it was in my 20s or 30s. Sleeping only 4 or 5 hours a night, I wouldn't even feel tired the next day. I felt like I had an endless supply of energy. I can assure everyone that practicing Falun Dafa gave me a second life. I witnessed the miracle of Falun Dafa and saw a brand new world. After 20 plus years of cultivation, I feel deeply that Falun Dafa is the true righteous way of cultivation. It can restore one's health in a short period of time and elevate one's moral character. It enables one to become healthy, virtuous, and even transcend the mundane. As a Falun Dafa practitioner who experienced its wonders firsthand, it's our unwavering obligation to expose the CCP's genocide and its crime against humanity. We must safeguard humanity's moral conscience, defend the freedom of belief, and call on the international community to stop the CCP's crime against humanity. I will persist until the end without any hesitation.
Dr. Wang, could you introduce your organization, the World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong?
WOIPFG was established on January 20th, 2003. Its headquarters is located in New York, with other branches in Europe, Australia, Asia, and Canada. The mission of the WOIPFG is to probe all crimes related to the persecution of Falun Gong, as well as the organizations, institutions, and individuals involved. Regardless of distance or time, the investigation will continue. We will follow the principles of heaven, uncover the truth, restore justice, and uphold human righteousness. On an individual level, whoever commits a crime must take responsibility. Individuals are held responsible for crimes committed by a collective organization. Those who instigated the persecution are the same as directly partaking in the persecution. All crimes committed under the name of an organization, institution, or apparatus will ultimately be attributed to individuals. This will fundamentally eliminate the foundation of state-sponsored crimes, fully embody judicial fairness, and uphold human morality and conscience. All relevant parties will be thoroughly investigated and brought to justice. For the CCP as a whole, it must be disbanded. Disbanding the CCP and seeking justice is an inevitable step in history. The World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong supports the peaceful disbandment of the CCP. The Chinese Communist Party's persecution against Falun Gong is a systematic genocidal state crime carried out by using the entire state apparatus, especially the act of forced live organ harvesting against Falun Gong practitioners. It is an evil act that has never existed on this planet. This incriminating evidence suggests that the CCP is the largest and most evil criminal organization in human history. It must be disbanded, and the criminals involved must be prosecuted. It's fair to say that real peace cannot be achieved as long as the CCP still exists. This is determined by the CCP's nature, and that is precisely why after every single persecution campaign, although there have occasionally been political rehabilitations and actions to punish those responsible, it has done nothing to stop future human rights violations from reoccurring. The CCP's persecution of Falun Gong is actually a persecution against mankind itself. Yet China's current judicial system is merely a component of the authoritarian regime, which makes it impossible to investigate and stop the persecution. To expose the CCP's crimes of persecuting Falun Gong and assist in future court trials, WOIPFG was established. In the last century, the trials of Nazi genocide and the corresponding evidence-gathering process only began after the fall of the Third Reich. This caused significant difficulties in collecting evidence and did not effectively stop the massacres at the time. The reckoning for the significant disasters that the communist movement has brought to humanity has yet to reach the scale it deserves. In some cases, it only truly began more than a decade after the fall of communist regimes, while in others, it remains confined to the state apparatus. The Chinese Communist Party has killed tens of millions of people throughout its various political campaigns, but it has yet to be held accountable. This has led to perpetrators becoming increasingly more brutal, reckless, and unhinged. Amid the CCP's ongoing persecution of Falun Gong, with it being the most sinister and massive totalitarian terror regime in human history still in operation, the world has witnessed for the first time a persecuted group itself establishing an organization such as the WOIPFG. This organization systematically probes and collects a massive amount of evidence and initiates legal actions targeting individual perpetrators, effectively deterring the persecutors. WOIPFG is honored to have initiated and participated in this unprecedented act of justice.
We urge the Chinese people to continue their courageous struggle for freedom from the communist regime. And we want them to know we are with you.